Zambia, often called the land of the mighty waters, is a nation where rivers, valleys, and plateaus have carried stories for centuries. From the roaring Victoria Falls, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, to the wide Zambezi and the fertile lands of the Great Rift, Zambia's geography is inseparable from its identity. This is a country where nature itself has long been the stage for human movement, resilience, and cultural creativity. Zambia sits in the heart of southern Africa, a vast landlocked country bordered by 8 nations: Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Its position makes it both a crossroads and a bridge, linking Central, Southern, and Eastern Africa. With the Zambezi River cutting through its lands and the Victoria Falls marking its southern edge, Zambia's geography has always shaped its trade, migration, and cultural exchange. The story of Zambia's beginnings reaches back thousands of years, to a time when waves of people moved slowly across the African continent. Archaeological finds show that humans lived here for tens of thousands of years, from Stone Age hunter-gatherers to Iron Age farmers. But the defining chapter of Zambia's foundation came with the Great Bantu migrations, which swept southward from the Cameroon-Nigeria region beginning around 1000 BC. These migrations carried language, farming skills, iron-smelting knowledge, and social traditions that would lay the cultural bedrock of much of sub-Saharan Africa. As Bantu-speaking groups settled the fertile valleys of the Zambezi and the high plateaus, they gave rise to distinct communities that would become Zambia's modern ethnic nations. The Tonga established themselves in the south, close to the Zambezi River, among some of the earliest farming and cattle-herding communities. The Lozi settled the floodplains of Barotseland in the west, developing an elaborate kingdom ruled by the Litanga, whose power and prestige rested on the rhythm of the river and the great Kuomboka festival that still endures today. The Bemba, moving from the Congo Basin, spread across the north and northeast, building a centralized chieftaincy system that became one of the most influential political traditions in the region. Meanwhile, the Ngoni, descendants of Shaka Zulu's empire, stormed north in the 19th century, bringing warrior traditions and reshaping local alliances. This layering of peoples and powers did not erase earlier cultures but wove them together, creating a mosaic of identities. Markets, trade routes, and farming systems spread across the land, binding Zambian communities into networks of exchange long before Europeans ever arrived. Oral traditions recall migration stories, battles, and alliances that shaped territories and gave legitimacy to rulers. By the time the first outsiders encountered this land, Zambia was already a space of organized kingdoms, rich oral history, and spiritual traditions tied deeply to the land and rivers. In this way, Zambia's founding story is less about a single moment and more about a continuum of migrations and cultural blending. By the time Europeans arrived in the 16th century, Zambia was already a land of powerful kingdoms and diverse societies. European contact came first through explorers and traders, but by the 19th century missionaries and colonial companies had taken interest in the region. Figures like David Livingstone, who chronicled the majesty of the Victoria Falls, introduced Zambia to the European imagination. Soon after, British colonial expansion through the British South Africa Company, led by Cecil Rhodes, claimed large swaths of land for mining and settlement. The discovery of rich copper deposits in the Copperbelt changed Zambia's trajectory, pulling it deeper into the machinery of colonial economics. In 1924, Northern Rhodesia, as Zambia was then called, officially came under direct British colonial rule. The infrastructure, railways, towns, and mines, was built largely to serve foreign interests, with little benefit to local communities. Yet the people of Zambia resisted invisibility. Nationalist movements emerged, led by figures like Kenneth Kaunda, whose United National Independence Party, UNIP, mobilized workers, farmers, and students alike. By the mid-20th century, the push for independence was unstoppable. On October 24, 1964, Zambia became a free nation, with Kaunda as its first president. Independence marked a new chapter, but the long historical background, from thriving kingdoms to colonial exploitation, remained the foundation of Zambia's modern identity. Several pivotal events shaped Zambia's path from ancient societies to a modern nation. The rise of the Lozi Kingdom in Barotseland and the Bemba chiefdoms in the north laid the groundwork for political organization, while the arrival of the Ngoni warriors in the 19th century reshaped alliances and traditions. In 1855, David Livingstone's discovery of Victoria Falls drew European attention to the region, fueling missionary activity and eventually paving the way for British colonization. By the early 20th century, the discovery of copper in the Copper Belt turned Zambia into an economic prize, attracting foreign investment and intensifying colonial control. The turning point came in the 1950s and 1960s, when growing nationalism, led by Kenneth Kaunda and the United National Independence Party, sparked strikes, protests, and political mobilization. These efforts culminated in independence on October 24, 1964, a historic milestone celebrated across the nation. Later, Zambia also became a frontline state in the struggle against apartheid and colonial rule in Southern Africa, hosting liberation movements from neighboring countries. Each of these events, kingdoms, colonization, mining, nationalism, and independence, left an enduring mark, shaping Zambia into both a resilient nation and a regional symbol of freedom. Across Zambia's history, power and identity were anchored in its traditional rulers and chiefs. In the west, the Litonga of the Lozi reigned over Barotseland, commanding loyalty across the floodplains and symbolizing the harmony between people and river. In the north, the Bemba chiefs built a network of authority that balanced military strength with kinship, ensuring continuity across generations. The Tonga, Chua, and other groups maintained their own chieftaincies, each preserving cultural traditions, oral history, and systems of justice that kept communities bound together. Even under colonial rule, these chiefs remained vital. Though the British often sought to weaken or manipulate them, traditional rulers continued to serve as cultural guardians and mediators between local people and the state. After independence, their roles shifted but did not vanish. They remain respected figures, symbols of continuity, and keepers of traditions in modern Zambia. Whether through the Litanga's annual Kuomboka festival or the enduring influence of Bemba, Tonga, and Ngoni chiefs, these rulers continue to embody the soul of Zambia's heritage. Zambia's cultural significance lies in its ability to weave together more than 70 ethnic groups into a single national fabric while still preserving distinct traditions. From the Lozi's Kuomboka festival, which celebrates renewal and resilience, to the Nsiwala of the Ngoni, honoring the first harvest, culture in Zambia is both spiritual and communal. Music and dance remain central expressions. Drums, xylophones, and rhythmic chants carry histories across generations, while crafts like basket weaving, beadwork, and wood carving preserve artistry tied to identity. Storytelling, too, holds power. Oral traditions recount migrations, battles, and ancestral wisdom that root Zambians in a shared past. This blend of ceremonies, art, and oral history does more than entertain. It strengthens social bonds, passes on values, and affirms Zambia's place as a cultural crossroads of Southern Africa. Zambia's artistic life and festivals are vibrant reflections of its history and identity. Ceremonies such as the Kuomboka of the Lozi, where the Litanga is ferried in a grand barge across the Zambezi, and the Nsiwala of the Ngoni, celebrating the first fruits of the harvest, are not only cultural spectacles but also affirmations of unity, resilience, and tradition. Other festivals like the Kulamba of the Chua and the Likambi Laya Mais of the Luvali highlight Zambia's diversity, drawing communities together while showcasing their unique customs through drumming, dance, and elaborate masquerades. Alongside festivals, traditional skills remain deeply respected. Basket weaving, beadwork, pottery, and wood carving are not merely crafts but expressions of heritage passed down through families as living traditions. The Lozi are renowned for intricate reed work, while the Tonga and Bemba preserve styles of bead-making that carry symbolic meaning. These artistic skills, paired with music and dance, transform everyday life into a celebration of history and identity. Together, Zambia's festivals and crafts stand as living archives, keeping the past alive while enriching the present. Zambian cuisine is simple yet deeply tied to culture and community. At its heart is nshima, a thick maize porridge that anchors nearly every meal, eaten with the hands and paired with hearty relishes. Common side dishes include ifisashi, vegetables simmered in a rich groundnut sauce, chibwabwa, tender pumpkin leaves often cooked with tomatoes and onions, and kapenta, small dried fish from Lake Tanganyika that are fried or stewed. Meat dishes like nyama choma, grilled meat, and village chicken are popular during gatherings, while seasonal fruits such as masuku, wild loquat, bring natural sweetness to the table. In Zambia, food is never just about eating, it is about sharing, identity, and the rhythm of daily life. The University of Zambia, UNZA, established soon after independence in 1965, has trained generations of leaders, while the Copperbelt University, CBU, and Mulangushi University continue to expand Zambia's academic reach. From these halls and others emerged thinkers, activists, and professionals who shaped the nation. Among Zambia's notable figures, Kenneth Kaunda, the nation's founding president, stands out as a symbol of independence and Pan-African solidarity. Simon Kapwepwe, co-founder of the independence movement, and Henry Nkambila, a pioneer nationalist, were also central in the struggle against colonial rule. Cultural voices like Alik Nkata, whose music inspired hope, and contemporary stars such as Dambisa Moyo, a globally recognized economist and author, show the breadth of Zambian influence. Together, these institutions and individuals embody Zambia's pursuit of knowledge, justice, and cultural pride. Zambia's story cannot be told in isolation, it is woven into the broader tapestry of Black history across the world. From the Bantu migrations that spread language and culture across Africa, to the colonial encounters that tied Zambia to European powers, the country has always been part of larger movements that shaped the continent. In the 20th century, Zambia became more than just an independent nation, it became a frontline state in the struggle for African liberation. It offered refuge and support to freedom fighters from Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, and South Africa, linking its destiny to the wider battle against oppression across the continent. This spirit of solidarity placed Zambia firmly in the global Black experience, connecting Lusaka to places like Harlem, Havana, and Kingston, where the struggles of the African diaspora found expression in music, activism, and identity. Zambia's resilience and generosity continue to stand as a reminder that the African story is one of unity, endurance, and shared hope. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because the soul of Africa has so much more to reveal.